the end of an era. But before we get into the sad part of our segment, just some admin things. First off, shout out to Tom Holland and Zendaya, who announced their engagement yesterday. One of the few celebrity couples I've been rooting for from the beginning to where we are now. Probably the least problematic couple. I'm so excited for them. So if they see this video, congratulations guys, you deserve it. And if you need just another random person to be at your wedding, yeah, I'd be willing. TikTok. TikTok is going away, and therefore I'm moving from BookTok to here, BookTube. And in the last couple of weeks, I have found myself being kind of reflective over my TikTok journey personally and how it has really sort of kickstarted my career. And I was just thinking about all of the things that I'm going to miss. And within the things I'm gonna miss, there are definitely some things I will not miss. And I know some creators are still holding out hope that we are going to hang on to TikTok and the Supreme Court is going to come in at the last minute and do something great for all of us. I don't feel that way. I don't feel confident in the system whatsoever. Notice how I'm keeping it out there. It has nothing to do with me. So I'm just going about my life as if the ban is going through, and so I have to pivot. And honestly, I have been on social media since the beginning of time. Your girl was there in the days of MySpace, of course, but there was like AOL Messenger. Of course, I was on Tumblr when that first came around. I eventually made the switch over to Facebook. Like I've been there. I've done, like, everything evolves, it changes, it'll be fine. I think the reason I'm so upset about this is kind of akin to the reason I felt upset about MySpace going away, is that TikTok was like the first social media platform that was really working for me, and I finally found some sort of sense of community here on the internet. And the internet can be a very scary place. I have had several videos go viral, so I know the darker side of the internet. There are a lot of lonely people out there who are just waiting to comment something really nasty on a random stranger's video. Honestly, that has nothing to do with me, so I kind of don't really group that in when I'm talking about social media, because yeah, obviously that's gonna happen on whatever platform you're on if you go as viral as TikTok had the ability to let creators go. But there's no doubt in my mind that I had just kind of carved out this corner of the internet for me and my readers. If you've been around for a while, particularly last winter, January through March, I would say, up until the summer of 2024, I was doing TikTok lives because I had opened my TikTok shop, and TikTok shop is really pushing go live and, sell more copies of your book. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And what started out as me trying to sell copies of my book ended up being a core memory almost. I will hold these memories of what we did on those TikTok lives in my heart for forever. My readers would just get on with me, and they are just the best people on the planet. The way that they're so supportive, and we would just have these really deep chats. Sometimes we had therapy Fridays. New people would join the conversation, and my readers were so warm and welcoming to them and telling them they should read my books. It just became this thing where it was is Kristen gonna go live so that we can all hang out together? And I just feel so honored that I got to be that person for them. I created this safe space for them to feel comfortable to come and hang out as they were. People would jump on the live with me and ask me questions, or I would ask them questions. It just really became the girlies hanging out on a Friday night. As far as I know, I don't really know the live platform of YouTube. Maybe that's something I should look into before anybody says anything about me trying to go over to Instagram and recreate what I created on TikTok. Let me tell you a story about how Meta and I no longer get along. I think around the summer of 2024, my personal Facebook got hacked, and my personal Facebook was linked to my professional Facebook, which was linked to my Instagram. Of course, Facebook has you linked to literally everything, right? It's the Meta sphere or whatever they want us to call it, who knows. Long story short, I never recovered that Facebook, and because of that, I never recovered my professional Facebook page. So my professional Facebook page is just like out there doing absolutely nothing, and I fought tooth and nail with Meta support to get it back, and it just was not happening. They were unhelpful, totally unhelpful, and some of them, because like you're just emailing back and forth, so like one day you're emailing with one support person, the next day it's somebody else. Some of them weren't even that kind to me. I was like, I'm the customer here, like I'm confused about why you're mad at me. And it got to the point where I was like, hey, can we escalate this to somebody that can take care of this, because like it's linked to my advertising page, so now I can't be running ads anymore. And the person that was chatting with me was like, listen, we have done everything that we can do for you. And he was like, if it makes you feel better, if I were to lose my Facebook today, these are the exact steps that I would have to go through, and I would be in the same place that you're at right now. And I was like, no, that doesn't make me feel better. I was like, why would that make me feel better that Meta also doesn't care about you and you work for the company? Like, what? I'm so confused. But I was like, can you escalate this to like IT or somebody that could get me back into this Facebook page? I know that there is somebody out there that can get me back into this Facebook page. You cannot convince me that if somebody high and mighty, say like our president, lost access to his Facebook page, that there wouldn't be some sort of way to recover it. Like, you cannot convince me that that is just not a possibility. So get me in contact with the person who can do this. And they were just like, nope, sorry, this is as far as you can go. So no, I'm not going to try and join Mark Zuckerberg and his band of buffoons over there on Instagram. I was there when it was created. It is my least favorite app now. At this point, I think he has ruined the algorithm. It's no longer more like I get to see my friends' things, and it's really just like what its algorithm thinks you want to see. And its algorithm clearly has no idea what I want to see, because it's never showing me things I want to see. So I just like don't get on the app anymore, to be honest. I don't really use it other than for me to post like some story updates. So I'm not going to try to recreate what was happening on TikTok on that app. And speaking of algorithms, I am absolutely going to miss TikTok's algorithm. TikTok's algorithm knew me better than I knew myself, and that is a double-edged sword for sure, because I don't think I'm gonna miss how much time I was spending on the app. I'm pretty good about social media usage in general and being on my phone in general, but there was just something about the app where I would go on and I would be scrolling the For You page looking for inspiration for what I should post, and then like 2 hours had gone by. It was one of the most addicting algorithms I've ever experienced, so I don't think that I'll miss that. My brothers and I were joking when I was home for Christmas that like we'll get our lives back now that TikTok is going away. We'll have so much more time on our hands, because it's just way too easy to get sucked into that app and then just like be there all day. But I do think I'll miss that the For You page really was like for me. It didn't take any effort really for me to be finding and engaging with the things that I wanted to, which is super helpful as a book content creator or as an author. I was getting review posts for books that I absolutely wanted to read. Like a couple months ago, a BookTok creator who I followed and just like really loved most of her reviews and recommendations. We have pretty similar tastes. Got on the app. It wasn't like a sponsored post or anything. She literally got on the app and was like, guys, you have to read this book ASAP. The way she spoke about it, she was like, you're not gonna know what's happening, but I promise you it's like the best ride that you will ever go on. And so literally that day I was like, oh, okay, add to my Barnes & Noble cart, check out, let's go. And that book was An Academy for Liars, which ended up being one of my top reads last year. So, like, the algorithm knew me, it knew what I wanted to see. Now my shelves are covered in books that I have to read, but that's kind of like a blessing in disguise, I think. I also think I'm just going to miss how easy TikTok was to use. Obviously, I'll get the hang of recording and editing long form content. In general, it's just going to take longer because it is longer videos that I'm filming. But there was just something so nice about being able to go on to TikTok, record the video. You could stop and start so that it was like editing the clip clips for you, and then really you only had to like edit out your little pauses and things like that, and then you could post and go and be done for the day. Like, it would take me maybe a half an hour to record and post if I was like really posting something on the longer side. For sure going to miss trending sounds. Trending sounds have basically become a second language, I think, for people that use the app. I'm gonna miss the way me and my siblings could have a full conversation in sounds that we got from TikTok, and we could totally understand each other. It really has become like a pop culture moment of us all knowing the lingo and the language, and there's just something really special about that. I also love easy to make content, and so to go on, find a trending sound, record something to it, make it fit my niche, post and go. Sometimes I'm like, oh, TikTok really was made for me. But definitely I would be remiss if I didn't mention TikTok Shop. I know most people hate, loathe TikTok Shop, but TikTok Shop was the backbone of my business in 2024. I had a goal of selling 1,000 physical copies of my books, and I sold almost 670 copies through TikTok Shop alone. That probably doesn't sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but as an indie author who basically was starting at ground zero, that was a lot for me. It just made up a bulk of my income last year. So there is definitely going to be an economic part of this that will for sure be a hit for me, that I'm going to have to figure out how to pivot out of and find a way to reach new readers organically. Like I said, I think TikTok had such a great algorithm that the organic reach was so easy. People could just click the link to my books and buy them right there. And you know, I'm certainly not the only small business owner that's going to be hurting from that. I can't even imagine creators who were making money from the creator fund. Because I was a business page, I couldn't also do that. But I do know people who could like pay their rent every month just through the creator fund. So that's going to be hard to adjust to. And I think when it first was announced that like the ban was going through, that's what I was most upset about. I was like, oh, you're actually going to take away part of my income. Like, you're taking money that I've made away from me. That's what really frustrates me, right? Is that these powers that be, the people in the government, say that they're for the people, but so many of us have been screaming, saying that we've built businesses on the backs of this platform, and they genuinely don't care. They don't care because they don't have the money that the app is making, and they don't have the power that the app currently has. They don't own the algorithm. And so that's what they really want, which is why I'm not feeling confident that the ban won't go through. I don't think ByteDance is going to sell to an American company. I think if they're smart, they wouldn't, and they shouldn't. So many people have been like, it's fine, something new is gonna take its place. That's super invalidating when I'm telling you that I made a good portion of my income from this platform, and you're telling me, oh, something else is gonna come along. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to start over. So if you're also feeling those feels of like, man, I'm kind of upset that this app is going away, but at the same time, it's just an app, I shouldn't be that upset about it. Like, I see you, I hear you, and I am right there with you. We're gonna be in the trenches together. And TikTok was my biggest platform. I had almost 10,000 followers over there, and I have not been able to recreate that success on any other platform. I'm just kind of sad. I know I'm gonna lose a majority of those followers, but one of my 2025 goals slash resolutions slash, I usually call them intentions, is to put out more than I consume. So I'm trying to create more than I consume, and I think YouTube is a really great platform for that. I don't really scroll through YouTube looking for videos, so I think it'll be really easy for me to post content, engage with you guys, and then just leave it at that. And I do think at the end of the day, if the Supreme Court were to step in and save the day, blah, 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 I still would want to change the way that I was engaging with TikTok. I do think that it can be a bit of an echo chamber in the sense that the algorithm is only going to show you what it thinks that you want, or things that it thinks you're going to like rage bait engage with. So it's very like black and white over there on that app. Not a lot of space for gray. Not a lot of space for nuance, which if you've read any of my books, you know I live in the gray. I die by the gray. I can only help but share the nuance in every single situation because I used to be a very black and white thinker, and it led to a lot of stress and anxiety and feeling isolated and unheard and unseen, and I just can't be that way. So if there's anything I'm glad to be like leaving behind in TikTok, I think it's that. And I think we should all be aware of rage baiting. I think sometimes it's really easy to like not see it for what it is because the internet makes it so easy to create parasocial relationships with people. It's so easy to think that you know somebody when really you're only seeing maybe 1% of their day, 1% of their personality. It's probably a curated version of their personality for you. So I think every now and again it's important to step back and step away and be like, hey, it's the end of the month. This person might be needing their rent to be paid, and that's why they're posting something wild, some crazy hot take that they know people are going to respond to. They know people are going to be emotionally invested in. It's kind of not something I can get behind, much like I struggle with marketing because it relies on the emotional manipulation of people to get them to do something. That's how I feel about rage baiting too. And honestly, I don't need it in my life. At the beginning of the month, my bills are paid, so I'm never going to be putting out any sort of content like that. But with all of that said, yeah, I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit sad that TikTok is going away. I think because I feel like it's being taken from us. But with everything else, life goes on. We're going to adapt and change to this. Like I said, I was there when MySpace went down, and I didn't think I would ever recover from that. I was literally like a sophomore in high school, and I was like, this is the end of the world because this is my social media platform. What do you mean it's not gonna be what it was? I lived through that, which might have been the worst thing in the world at the time. I will live through this, and we will always find a way to find each other. I will always be on the internet, both fortunately and unfortunately. So have no fear. There will be ways for us to connect and to hang out. If you're new here, I hope you'll stick around. We like to have fun here. We like to talk about things that are important to us. And above all, I do try to create, if it's even possible, create a safe space on my corner of the internet so that the people who come into my bubble feel seen and heard in the mess that is life and walk away hopefully a little bit lighter. Pour one out for TikTok and cheers to whatever's next.